Everything changed in a matter of seconds. When the dust finally settled on the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders didn't just add a few new faces. They radically altered the entire DNA of their franchise. The stakes right now? They are absolutely astronomical. We are looking at a team standing at the most critical, high-wire crossroads in their modern history. Welcome to NFL Nexus. Today, we're diving deep into the strategic, high-stakes experiment unfolding right this second at the Raiders training camp under new head coach Klint Kubiak. It's a fascinating chess match of roster building. Before we get into this massive rebuild happening out in the desert, make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this explainer, and comment your thoughts down below. And if you really want to support the channel and what we do here, consider becoming a channel member. All right, let's get into it.
So, you have to ask yourself, can a 10-pick draft class actually save a struggling franchise? That is the single defining question hovering over the Raiders organization this year. Klint Kubiak didn't just inherit a football team when he took the job. He inherited an absolute arsenal of unproven youth. 10 draft picks. Think about what that actually means for a locker room. That sheer volume of rookies creates this immense, almost suffocating tension inside the building. On one hand, you draft these guys because you desperately need them to become foundational stars immediately. You need cheap young talent to win in today's NFL. But on the other hand, throwing a massive rookie class into the fire too early, that can completely shatter their confidence and set your rebuild back by half a decade. Coach Kubiak is playing an incredibly deliberate, dangerous game right now. He is methodically trying to shield his rookies from immediate failure, all while managing the heavy expectations of a fan base that is absolutely starving for a winner.
Section 1. Fixing the quarterback room. Now let's look at the Raiders' current reality under center, because this is the ultimate battleground. On one side of the equation, you have Kirk Cousins. We all know who he is. He's the seasoned, highly paid veteran. He was signed to be the known commodity, the ultimate professional bridge quarterback, and he's already been named the starter for training camp. But looming right over his shoulder is Fernando Mendoza, the first overall pick in the draft, the Heisman Trophy winner, the national champion out of Indiana. The contrast here is cinematic. You have the ultimate mercenary veteran trying to hold off the golden boy savior of the franchise. And let's be real. Every single time Cousins throws an incomplete pass in practice, every time an offensive drive stalls, every eye in that facility is going to immediately dart toward the highly anticipated rookie standing on the sideline holding his helmet. The psychological pressure inside that quarterback room is immense. But here is where this storyline takes a genuinely shocking turn. Usually, when a guy gets drafted #1 overall, the expectation is that he's the immediate franchise savior. Day one starter, no questions asked. But Mendoza? He has openly admitted to the press that he simply isn't ready for week 1. He actually came out and said it. He's entirely on board with the coaching staff's redshirt strategy. This silent, behind-the-scenes development is undoubtedly the biggest simmering storyline in camp right now. It's a brilliant plan on paper, sure. Let the kid learn the pro game. But the moment Kirk Cousins struggles in a real, live, regular season game, this harmonious master plan is going to be tested to its absolute limit. How quickly is Mendoza actually progressing behind closed doors? And realistically, how long can a veteran like Cousins hold off the inevitable when the fan base starts chanting the rookie's name?
And in the wake of this massive, top-to-bottom overhaul, there are always going to be clear casualties. Chief among them right now is Aiden O'Connell. Just think about how crazy the NFL business really is. This is a guy who was the starter. This is the guy who went out and led the Raiders to that gritty, unforgettable 14-12 victory over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2025. That was a massive moment, and now he is swirling in active trade rumors. He's a direct victim of a new regime coming in and aggressively wiping the slate clean to fit their specific vision. O'Connell's current status is sending a stark, ice-cold reminder to everyone else in that locker room. Past loyalty doesn't matter. Your job is fundamentally tied to proving your worth to this new coaching staff every single day.
Section 2. Reinforcing the offense.
Moving past the quarterbacks, we have to talk about the trenches, because the Raiders only used one single draft pick to address an offensive line that severely struggled last year. That pick was Trey Zuan III out of Texas A&M. But what makes this fascinating is that Kubiak's staff isn't just plugging him into his comfortable college spot. They are completely re-engineering his professional role. They drafted a college tackle, brought him to Vegas, and immediately kicked him inside to the interior offensive line. If you know football, you know that is a totally different beast. The spacing, the leverage, the speed of the defensive tackles, it's a massive adjustment. Yet, they're aggressively testing his versatility by having him take meaningful reps at multiple interior spots. In Kubiak's offensive system, that kind of positional flexibility isn't just a luxury. It is absolutely invaluable.
And let me tell you, Zern isn't just soaking up reps for depth. He is actively threatening the starting jobs of highly established players on this roster, guys like Jackson Powers-Johnson and Spencer Burford. Think about the message that sends. A third-round rookie who played a completely different position in college just a few months ago is suddenly pushing seasoned veterans for their starting spots. It brings this intense, cutthroat competition to the trenches that the Raiders desperately needed. The coaching staff is clearly weaponizing this positional battle to elevate the intensity and the production of the entire offensive line unit.
Speaking of rookies making an immediate move, there is a totally fascinating contrast in how Ken Kubiak is actually handling this draft class. We talked about Fernando Mendoza, the #1 overall pick, the face of the franchise. He has taken exactly 0 first-team reps. 0. He is strictly watching, charting plays, and learning the speed of the NFL. But then you look at Mike Washington Jr., a running back they drafted in the 4th round. He is already taking significant reps with the first-team offense. It's wild. The coaching staff is treating these rookies on a strictly case-by-case basis. They are bubble-wrapping the franchise quarterback to protect his development, while simultaneously throwing a 4th-round running back straight into the absolute fire.
The overarching strategy here is pretty clear. They want to build a punishing physical identity through a split backfield. The modern NFL is brutal on running backs. By strategically dividing the workload, the offense stays highly explosive late in games, and more importantly, it wears down opposing defenses. It's very similar to the philosophy the Seattle Seahawks used by pairing Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. By aggressively integrating the rookie Washington Jr. with their second-year lead back Ashton Jeanty, the Raiders are actively trying to construct a two-headed monster in the backfield. And the whole point of this? It's designed to take a massive amount of pressure off of whoever is playing quarterback, whether that's Cousins now or Mendoza later.
Section 3. Revamping the secondary.
Now flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, the Raiders' rookie defensive backs are facing a wildly unpredictable, almost chaotic dynamic right now in camp. Just look at how this is shaking out. You have a highly touted second-round pick who is currently completely blocked from seeing the field by a veteran. You have a 4th-round pick who is practically redshirting his entire first year due to an injury. And then, completely out of left field, you have a 5th-round pick surging up the depth chart, fighting tooth and nail for a starting role. If this doesn't prove that draft pedigree means absolutely nothing once you step onto the practice field, I don't know what does.
Take a guy like Tre'Davious Stukes, for example. This is a high-value second-round pick out of Arizona. They are currently transitioning him from a college safety to an NFL nickel corner, a notoriously difficult switch. But his path to the field is totally blocked by 30-year-old Taron Johnson. Remember, the Raiders just acquired Johnson for practically nothing in a late-round pick swap with the Buffalo Bills, just a 6th and 7th-round swap. The coaching staff is heavily relying on this veteran acquisition to shield their second-rounder from those brutal early career struggles against NFL slot receivers. But the lingering question is obvious. How long is a highly drafted, highly competitive rookie going to tolerate sitting on the bench behind a 30-year-old bridge player?
Then you have the heartbreaking yet fascinating, unpredictable path of Jermod McCoy. If you rewind to the pre-draft process, McCoy was being hailed by a lot of scouts as the absolute best cornerback in this entire class. He was widely projected as a lock for the first round, but a devastating knee injury caused his draft stock to completely plummet to the 4th round, which is where the Raiders pounced and caught his fall. Right now, they are bringing him along incredibly slowly this season. It is a highly calculated, long-term gamble. They aren't rushing his rehab. They are banking on the hope that if he heals perfectly, he becomes a true foundational, lockdown star for their 2027 defense.
But while all these high draft picks, the 1st-rounder, the 2nd-rounder, the potential 1st-round talent, are sitting, waiting, and watching from the sidelines, the single biggest shock of this entire training camp belongs to a number that usually guarantees a player will be fighting for his life just to make the practice squad. 5th.
Hezekiah Masses, a mere 5th-round draft pick. He is coming in and completely upending every single expectation on the defensive depth chart. We're not just talking about a late-rounder making the 53-man roster, which is hard enough. He literally took snaps with the starting defense on the very first day of training camp. The Raiders do not have a locked-in, guaranteed starter opposite of Eric Stokes right now, and Masses has stepped right into that massive void with a level of supreme confidence you rarely see from a Day 3 rookie. If he continues to ball out and actually holds on to this job into September, he might literally be the very first glimpse of the Raiders' rebuilt defense that fans get to see making plays in the regular season.
Section 4. The timeline for success.
So, what does this all mean when you pull back and look at the big picture? The reality of this rebuild is that it is the ultimate high-stakes chess match for Clint Kubiak. It requires incredible patience. He is specifically utilizing veteran band-aids, guys like Kirk Cousins on offense and Taron Johnson on defense, as temporary shields.
And underneath the cover of those shields, away from the immediate pressure of Sunday expectations, he is desperately trying to develop an entire generation of future franchise stars: Mendoza, Stukes, McCoy. He's methodically trying to prevent their confidence from being shattered before they are physically and mentally ready to step up and violently take over this roster. It is an incredibly delicate, precarious line to walk for a first-year head coach. Which brings us to the ultimate, unavoidable question for the 2026 Las Vegas Raiders. It's the question that will define their entire season. How long can they actually keep their future on the sideline? The red shirt strategy always looks brilliant in August, when everyone is undefeated. But what happens in late October if those veteran shields start to stumble? What happens when the offense stalls, the defense gives up big plays, and 70,000 fans in Allegiant Stadium start chanting for the first overall pick? The breaking point is coming. It's just a matter of when. Make sure you are subscribed to NFL Nexus, drop a like on this explainer, and get in the comments down below. Let me know exactly when you think Fernando Mendoza will finally take the field. Support the channel by becoming a member, and we'll see you next time.